Hey guys, okay, I'm back. Now normally I don't share or preach on the videos because if you're led to seek out the Lord, you'll do it. And I'm posting links below my video and scriptures and some other key links like a really good YouTube video on a spirit-filled woman and also the link between the Nibiru passing 3,600 year intervals and possibly linked to the Noah's flood event back around 5200 BC. So that'd be 2 times 3,600. You can find those links below the videos. But this here really struck me, so I'm going to just touch on it briefly. I don't know if you're aware of the 2 tetrads of blood moons. Well, anytime there's a tetrad of blood moons, usually it's something follows significantly. And the last set, the 8th blood moon, is going to occur on January 21st, 2019. It's a super blood moon in that it's going to be closest to the Earth at the apogee point. So it's going to look really big, especially on the horizon. And it's also called the wolf moon. But what struck me is the symmetry. Okay, here's the midpoint. January 5th, 2015. And if you count the number of days between each of these moons, blood moons, first one was on January 4th, 2011. And if you count 1,461 days, 1/6/19. Oh, that's partial solar eclipses. Okay, these are the blood moons down here. But anyway, look at the symmetry. That's what struck me. The number of days on each side is exactly the same. So you might want to check this out. I'll post the link down below in the description box. And this prophecy that this guy was given from the Lord said this is going to be the last sign. It's going to be the last one. And then he details the word he got from the Lord. And some people really do get words from the Lord. There's a lot of fakers out there and false prophets, especially on YouTube. However, I mean, just the symmetry of that thing rings true for me. So anyway, I'll post the link. Something worth checking out. This could be it. We could be getting really close. And judging from all the stuff that's going on with the planet, we had another high-speed solar wind event, just like clockwork. That'd make 10th day in a row, just after midnight. High-speed solar wind event. I have it stopped. These two are synced. These two Fock radiation belts. Electron belt, showing you the electron volts. You can see the false bow shock behind the Earth. There it is there, that thin line. And then everything inside that's all high. This is all 4 million electron volts. So, I mean, that's super high energy. It's causing serious gamma radiation. Fortunately, it's not reaching the planet. Our atmosphere protects us, but every once in a while you'll see purple skies, which would be the nitrogen and the oxygen, and maybe even pink or green skies being ionized. In other words, they get an electron stripped from their atoms, and that causes ionization. And when it happens to those elements, nitrogen and oxygen, those colors result. I saw also on Facebook they had another transformer failure at Mexico City yesterday or last night. So I don't know what's up with that. But anyway, I thought this was pretty wild. Look at that, man. That's some serious high energy coming in for no good reason. That's a 102705. And I'll show you the high-speed solar wind event in a minute. But if you look at Discover 102705, I mean, nothing peculiar happened here. It's being read out here at the L1 Lagrange point. Whoops. It's being read out here at the L1 Lagrange point. This is where the Discover and the ACE satellites are parked. 930,000 miles in front of the Earth, reading the data, solar wind data coming from the sun, in order to maybe give us a 15 to 1 hour heads up to power down geosynchronous satellites and whatnot, to protect their electronics from any type of solar wind event coming from the sun. So as you can see, I mean, everything's quite normal and no spikes going on. Solar wind speeds around 400 kilometers per second. Density went way down. It was coming way up yesterday, like I had predicted, because that solar wind connection with Nemesis, or that biangle connection with Nemesis, I postulated was becoming the strongest connection. It was starting to pile up the density up by the L1 point, Lagrange point where the satellites are. Well, that's since subsided. It went up as high as 28 something. And then thankfully it started coming back down. But maybe when that got released, and here it is here on the 3-day Discover loop, moved it to 3 days. Now I don't know why these gaps are showing up now on Discover. They weren't there before. Not that large of gaps. That's crazy. But anyway, here's the solar wind density. See, it was coming up. Well, actually, it was up to like 28 when I looked at it yesterday. I don't know. They're messing with this thing. So these big gaps weren't here on Discover the last several days when I was showing you. They were only appearing on ACE. Now they're on Discover. And these aren't data gaps. I checked. We still only have the short little data gaps like I showed you before. Maybe an hour and a half in duration. And but now we have an 11-hour gap on Discover, and it looks like they are putting one there now for yesterday and the day before. I punched it up to 7 days on Discover, and for some reason they're putting in these big gaps just where the ACE gaps were. Oh boy, it's crazy. Really crazy. And it's not a data gap shown on the Discover. Okay, we had ACE, got the normal gap. It's gone even larger. It's a data gap from 2100 UTC on the 13th yesterday all the way up to almost 8 UTC today. And here's the ACE ground tracking plots. So this remains consistent. We get the big gap showing up, just like I've been showing you the last several days. There's the 48-hour plot. That's as far back as you go on ACE. MLSO, they didn't give us anything on the 13th, and it's too early to tell if we'll get anything today. That's often X'd out in the morning. So here we are back on ISWA. I showed you the solar wind speed measured up around the L1 Lagrange point at 930,000 miles. And no ray reflects what's going on in front of the planet as far as these color gradients are showing. That's as high as I've ever seen, that angry red color there. And you can see we're still having the same type of activity behind the Earth trying to eject plasma. You notice you can still got the IMF blue field lines trying to peek in from that big planet or planets out in front. There was that big surge. I'll just drag it through slow. We'll go back to the high-speed solar wind event, which began right around the same time again, just after midnight. So there's the whole run on the Y cut. That's when the high-speed solar wind event started. We'll pull it back to that. And it only lasted like an hour and a half this time. So, and I look at my hypothesis number 2 below the videos in the comment section. It deals with these high-speed solar wind events from Nemesis. So you can see this one started at around 07, 7 minutes past midnight UTC, or 11 minutes past, went to 8:46, then 15, at 15 past, went to 12:73, 13:52, I think that's the highest one, 8:17, 11:26, 13:66, there's the higher one, 13:45. Wow, look at all that plasma. All that blue stuff's high energy plasma. 1064, and I see people making videos saying we're seeing plasma in the skies and stuff. There's no freaking way we're seeing this plasma in our skies. What we're seeing is maybe possibly some ionized radiation turning the sky purple or green or pink, but other than that, there's 1036. You can see there's a lot of violent stuff going on even when the solar wind speed comes down. Now these are all being measured. All these numbers we're getting here are being measured from these GOES 13, 14, and 15 satellites that are going around here in a geosynchronous orbit at 22,236 miles. So I'll just pull this one through for you. Oh yeah, here's another thing I wanted to touch on. So you can see, look, our magnetopods is being compressed all the way up until about 8:39 UTC today, and I showed you the solar wind numbers coming from the sun, only down around 400 tops. So there's no way our magnetopods should be being compressed this much. The normal is around 10, okay? So we're a little bit below normal there. You can see it's getting squirreled around quite a bit. That's when the high-speed solar wind event happened, right around here, and lasted till about there. And it's still being compressed though. So either we're getting a lot of stuff thrown at us from this big planet out front, and that's compressing the magnetosphere, but since it's such a steady compression, I think perhaps that was indicating maybe the connection starting to shift to being a stronger connect from the sun through the big planet, through the Earth, back to Nemesis, although we're still seeing, even up here, a pretty good connection. And there's the big gap. I don't know. Let's just discover. And we still got the phi angle way up above 360 there. Now it's starting to fluctuate. This is when it ballooned out back again. It ballooned out around 8 something, and then it got compressed again. So we got some instability in the interplanetary magnetic field, it looks like. And from looking at this, if you look at the front here, we're getting hardly any blue interplanetary magnetic field lines coming from that big planet. It's just like an open connection. So perhaps the big planet or planets out front are exerting that much pressure on the front of the magnetopods, causing it to be compressed like it is. I don't know. Crazy stuff, guys. Looking pretty weak. I think we're still looking weak, and I'd say the squeeze play is still definitely on. So check out the links in my description box, the solar ham space weather tutorials there, and my comment section. God bless, peace, and I'm out.